In the quiet village of Kalandu, whispers travelled faster than the morning sun over the horizon. Amina, a woman revered for her kindness and wisdom, began to hear the unsettling murmurs that reached her ears like poison. Villagers spoke in hushed tones about her husband Bahati, who was seen too often in the company of a woman from the neighbouring village. At first, Amina dismissed the gossip, trusting Bahati's loyalty, but as the rumours grew persistent, so did the gnawing doubt in her heart. She decided to confront him indirectly, to test his faithfulness and uncover the truth. She crafted a plan, one that would require courage and deception. She would claim to be cursed, struck blind by a family affliction, whispered about but never spoken aloud. This, she hoped, would lure Bahati into exposing his secrets. With her decision made, Amina prepared herself for the game that would unravel her life in ways she could not yet fathom.
Amina's announcement of sudden blindness swept through Kalundu, sending shockwaves through the close-knit community. Everyone knew of the rumored curse on her family, a tale buried deep within the village's lore. Her neighbors and friends visited, bringing offerings of food and herbs, their eyes wide with sympathy and fear. Bahati, appearing distressed, acted the part of a dutiful husband, guiding her around their small home, speaking to her in a voice tinged with pity. However, Amina noticed something else. Bahati's relief. He had accepted her blindness too readily, and within days he began staying out late, no longer restrained by her watchful eyes. She remained silent, listening to the world around her through the fog of supposed blindness, her senses sharpening as her heart braced for the truths hidden in the dark. Days turned to weeks, and Bahati's absence grew bolder, his lies more careless. "Work keeps me," he'd mutter, or "a friend is ill." Yet Amina could smell the faint scent of perfume on his clothes, an unfamiliar fragrance that lingered like a wound. With each night he stayed away, her suspicion hardened, her resolve strengthening. But she kept her facade, allowing Bahati's arrogance to deepen his deception. One evening, Bahati returned later than usual, his tone casual yet offhand. Amina could sense a change in him, an emboldened recklessness. She felt the familiar pang of betrayal, but held it back, gathering the strength to confront the truth with undeniable proof. In her silence, she prepared, waiting for him to make his final mistake. Amina decided it was time to put her plan into action. She sat in the darkness of their small home, waiting for Bahati to return. Her heart pounded, her mind replaying every moment of deceit. At last, she heard his footsteps, unsteady and careless, entering the house. She feigned sleep, her ears attuned to his every movement. She heard him whisper a name in his drunken slur, a name that was not hers. The sound struck her like a knife, cutting deep into her heart. Her suspicions were confirmed. Bahati was not just betraying her trust, but also mocking her blindness. Swallowing the bitterness, Amina knew this was only the beginning. The next step in her plan would require more courage than she had ever known. The following morning, Amina could no longer keep her silence. She waited for Bahati to wake and confronted him with a calmness that surprised even herself. "Bahati, last night you called out a name. Who is she?" Bahati looked startled, his gaze flickering with a brief hint of guilt before he masked it with indifference. "You must be mistaken, Amina." "You're confused," he replied, his tone dismissive. Amina's patience thinned, but she held her ground. "I may be blind, but I am not deaf," she said firmly. Bahati laughed, a hollow sound that sent chills down her spine. "Perhaps it's time you stopped listening to ghosts," he said coldly. Amina's heart sank, realizing that her husband was no longer the man she thought she knew. The confrontation left Amina feeling hollow but resolute. She decided to uncover the secrets Bahati guarded so closely. She began listening to the whispers in the village, learning from neighbors and gathering fragments of conversations that hinted at Bahati's whereabouts. She noticed patterns, women mentioning a new visitor to the village, a shadow that only appeared at night. Each fragment of information strengthened her resolve. She decided that if Bahati would not give her the truth, she would find it herself. The journey would be dangerous, and she would face it alone, for she could trust no one in this pursuit of hidden secrets and buried lies. As Amina gathered clues, she learned of a stranger who often accompanied Bahati. This mysterious woman had a reputation that traveled ahead of her. Some villagers spoke of her as a healer, others as a witch with a charm for the vulnerable. Amina's heart pounded as she pieced together rumors, imagining what this woman's connection to Bahati might be.